In this course, we're going to learn about the NumPy programming library, which allows us to create vectors and matrices of multiple dimensions and operate with them using a wide variety of mathematical operations. Let's begin. By the way, if you're interested in reinforcement learning, we've created a course in Udemy where you'll learn its basics, such as Monte Carlo and temporal difference methods and dynamic programming, as well as advanced algorithms such as reinforce, deep Q networks, and actor-critic methods. We left a discount link in the description. You can follow this tutorial clicking on the link of the description to open this notebook on Google Colab, or if you prefer, you can open your own notebook in your local environment and follow along with it. The first thing that we're going to do is import the code libraries that we're going to use. Among them, of course, the most important is NumPy, because it's the library that we're going to learn in this course. The rest, such as Seaborn or Matplotlib, are data visualization libraries that we are going to use in some exercises, and this function from scikit-learn is going to give us access to stock images that we are going to use in the image processing lecture. So let's execute this cell, and now we have the libraries that we need. Let's see what version of NumPy we're working with. As you can see, we are working with version 1.19, although yours will probably be a little bit higher. If that is the case, don't worry, because the functionality of the library probably won't be affected very much. Okay, so now we're going to meet the data structure that is central to NumPy. This data structure is called n-dimensional array, and these n-dimensional arrays are simply a data structure that contains elements ordered in rows and columns, and they can have an arbitrary number of dimensions. For example, here we have a row vector. A row vector is a collection of elements ordered in the horizontal dimension. So a vector can be represented by a one-dimensional array, because the elements contained in this vector, this 4, this 9, this 1 and this 2, because these numbers are laid out along a single dimension, the horizontal dimension. As we said, the n-dimensional array is the perfect data structure to represent vectors. It is also very useful to represent matrices using two-dimensional arrays. In this case, we have a 3x4 matrix with 3 rows and 4 columns, and each combination of row and column is an entry containing a value. And this can be extended to however many dimensions we want. That is, we can create a 3-dimensional matrix where we lay out elements in 3 dimensions: the horizontal dimension, the vertical one, and the depth dimension. And we can represent this 3-dimensional matrix using an ND array of 3 dimensions. And this process can be extended to however many dimensions we want. That way, the ND array data structure is perfect for representing vectors, matrices, or tensors, which is how we call matrices of 3 or more dimensions. But the ND array data structure doesn't have to contain numbers in its entries. It can store a lot of different data types. For example, each entry can contain text, Boolean values, or even objects in general. Here you have a more or less exhaustive list of the data types that are allowed. ND arrays can store floating point numbers with different levels of precision. For example, using 16 bits, 32 bits, or 64 bits of memory to represent the numbers in its entries. We can also store integers at different levels of precision, and also complex numbers, Boolean values, as we said before, strings, and objects. So as you can see, the NumPy library revolves around this ND array data structure. And the NumPy library allows us to perform operations on these arrays. But why is this library so special? Why is it used for data science, astronomy, science, engineering, and so many fields? Well, because using this data structure to represent our information allows us to solve mathematical problems that involve matrices, vectors, tensors, etc. For example, in data science, it's very common for us to want to train a neural network to perform a specific task, such as classification, regression, etc. In this case, the input data, the weight matrices of the neural network, and the prediction outputs are represented using matrices and vectors. So this tool, this library, is perfect for working with these kinds of problems. Also in astrophysics, a field where scientists work with a large amount of data laid out in rows and columns, and where the scientist has to find anomalies or patterns in that data, this library is perfect because it will allow us to crunch a very large number of data very efficiently. This library is also perfect for statistics, other areas of mathematics, image processing, and many other fields. All these fields have an important feature in common. In them, we use data in tabular form, and we perform memory and compute intensive tasks on this data. So we need a very efficient software that is optimized to perform these kinds of tasks. But why is NumPy capable of processing such big volumes of data? After all, NumPy is a Python library, and Python is an interpreted language, which tend to be much slower than compiled languages. Well, the reason for that is because the functionality of NumPy is implemented in the C programming language, which is an extremely fast compiled language. When we tell the NumPy library that it has to perform a computationally expensive operation, what it does is execute that operation using routines in the C language. And those routines yield the results back to Python so that we can continue working with them. That way, the instructions of the compute-intensive task don't have to go one by one through the Python interpreter, which would make the execution much slower. Compiled programming languages such as C convert the source code into machine code ahead of time, and they apply a number of optimizations. So, in summary, Python is a high-level interface to this very efficient code written in C. On the other hand, NumPy is very memory efficient because all the elements inside an array have the same data type. And that allows us to store them very compactly, side by side, in memory. On the other hand, this library gives us a very large amount of operations to work with these arrays. Indexing operations, shape manipulation, etc. etc. Another reason why NumPy is so efficient is because the operations are vectorized. What this means is that we can simply declare the operation that we want to perform between two arrays, and NumPy will hide the complexity of that operation from us. For example, if we want to sum two vectors element-wise, thanks to NumPy we won't have to iterate over the elements of each vector and add them one by one. Instead, NumPy simply allows us to declare the operation as one vector plus another vector, and the library will handle for us this element-wise iteration. All we have to say is declare the operation that we want performed. Another reason why NumPy is so efficient is because it will process these vectorized operations in parallel, adding different elements of the array at the same time, instead of doing it sequentially. Another benefit is that because we only have to declare the operation and let NumPy do it for us, our code will be much cleaner and much more easy to read. All of these optimizations allow NumPy to perform these operations at a massive speed. In fact, Let us check how efficient is NumPy really compared to Python. And we are going to do that through a small experiment. Let's click on this cell, press Ctrl and Enter, and look at the results that we obtained. This graph shows us how long it takes for NumPy compared to Python to add the elements of two lists. As the number of elements on the list varies. For example, we've done an experiment in which we sum the elements of two Python lists, and each list has 100 elements inside. Then we'll add two Python lists with 1,000 elements. Then another one with 10,000, and then another one with 1,000,000. And we'll do the same using NumPy. And the result is that the higher the size of the list, the more efficiency we gain by using NumPy instead of Python. On the y-axis you have the time that it took for the experiment to run. As you can see, using Python, the execution time grows linearly with the size of the list. However, thanks to all the optimizations in NumPy, the runtime of the experiment grows very slowly as the number of elements in the list increases. That is to say that NumPy is the perfect tool when we have to work with huge volumes of data. And that is the reason why pretty much all the data science libraries in Python rely one way or another on NumPy arrays.